Hey guys, what's another video today with Dad? Say hello, Dad.
All right, Dan. So listen, we've got what we want. Steve Bruce is gone. But where do we go from here? Quick thing on Steve Bruce, right? Yes, he had to go. It's a results business and the table doesn't lie. However, I wish he hadn't have taken the job in the first place. In all honesty, he wasn't my cup of tea, to coin a phrase. And I actually think he's been set up. I think the questions need to be asked now is what are the intentions of the current owner, right? Is his heart within the club? Has he got the money to get us out of where we need to be? Is he committed, or is it time to change? Because let's make no bones about this, Dan. We're not too good to go down. We could go down, and if anything, it might well be our blessing in disguise, because we haven't cleared out the toss pots from last season. We've got a bunch of underperforming, overpaid, underachieving professionals who really have let everybody down, not just Steve Bruce. Because let's be honest, before Bruce even walked through the doors, the club is in decline, and now we're rapidly getting to a place where we don't want to be.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with what you say. What I was going about is the three principles of when Steve Bruce came in. He wants to bring the fans back together. He's made it worse. In fact, same as really wrong goal. He wants to do that. The results have not changed. And the main thing that me and you always go on about is the Deadwood. Tell me right now, Dad, what Deadwood players are still here right now? And there's quite a lot of them, really.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to hide. I think that Matty Phillips should have been gone ages ago. Yeah. Let's not fall in love with how pretty he looks and how he runs. The bottom line is, what are his end products? They're nothing. Connor Townsend, to me, is not a championship player. I don't care what anybody says. He's not a championship player. Furlong should have been gone ages ago. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, there's probably quite a lot of others. I know it's going to be Jake's last season. He deserves that because he's been a loyal captain. But I'll have to get the squad list up in a minute and go through and confirm who I think is up for the job. I bet Jed Wallace is wondering what on earth he's doing there. John Swift hasn't worked out. Grady Diangana is a player playing for a team that, you know what, we're probably bringing his game down, but he can add a bit more to the equation. Asante's a good buy. He needs time. We haven't really fixed an out-and-out goal scorer. I don't think DK is going to be the answer. I would say in Steve Bruce's defence that we're a club not only in turmoil, but we have had some really unlucky decisions on the pitch.
We have definitely. I feel like you could see there was some performances, like you got Burnley. We looked really good, to be fair, some stages. Watford, but again, there was no real game plan. And yes, he has been helped by the owner not giving him much money to spend in the transfer, only bringing in John Swift, Jed Wallace, and Asante for a total of about 300k. Yes, that hasn't helped. But I know I've seen this thing on Twitter. People are saying, if look, he came in, we were in 5th position, right? And to be fair, Steve Bruce is a nice guy, but I just don't get why he hasn't been sacked like 2 weeks ago, for example. Because yes, it might even give more time, for example. Because what would you do right now with the managers that we could bring in? There's not enough out there, in my opinion, to really go, yeah, we should have him in. Yes, there's Sean Dyche, but if I'm going to be honest with the Albion fans right now, yes, he's a big name. He's a massive name. But again, we've been through the Pulis era, Valley era. We hated how he played. Yes, he gets the results. But I can tell you right now, you will not want to sit there every week and watch Sean Dyche ball. That's my honest opinion. Wilder, Dad, for example, he didn't do well at Borough. He's got the sack there. We want him in. There isn't many people out there. So yes, while I do have a go at the board for not sacking him, I'm not surprised they kept with him for a couple more weeks.
I would imagine they kept with him for a couple of more weeks because even they knew the writing on the wall. I think that, listen, we've got to be careful now because anybody who's available is out of work, because we ain't going to be able to pay compensation to get a manager. It's all right, me, you, and Uncle Tom Cobley saying that we need a young manager. There's nobody with proven track experience that we could get. You answer me this, and if anybody watching can really work it out, you please tell me, right, true or false, when Sam Allardyce would rather sit at home than manage the Albion, right, there's a problem in itself. When Robson Carnu could have had another year at the Albion. Why did he turn it down? So, you know, it's without doubt, behind the scenes, something isn't right. Now, you know something, whoever comes in, whoever takes charge, they will not get a response from this current squad of players because they're not good enough, right? That is the simple facts. If they do, then it's the players to blame. I'll tell you what, the players, right, are going to have all the pressure now. It lies with them. So you know what my worry is, Dan?
Go for it.
You know what my worry is that we're going to make the same mistake over and over again. Ron Gourley, what has he brought to the club?
Exactly.
Like Gucci and Lai, right? What were his intentions when he bought the club? Are his intentions, whatever they are, has he got the passion for the Albion? No. Who represents him on match days? Right? Do we ever see him at matches? I've seen him twice, right? So is his passion there? No. Right. We need, who makes the daily football decisions now? Steve Bruce is gone. Who do we blame now when the players look as if that, you know what, we'll just turn up, we'll have a few fancy flicks, we'll huff and puff, and at the end of the game, when we've been turned over on a Wednesday night, a wet Wednesday night, and they're on their feet, you know what? They're a bunch of charlatans, right? And my love with the Albion players as it stands at the moment is coming to an abrupt end. It's like a marriage of inconvenience.
That, again, you're spot on with what you say. Carrying with your point, it says a lot in itself when players like Matt Phillips on like 2-year deals, you've got like 1 year left at the moment, but Adam Reach 3-year deals. They got a lot of players. Carlin Grant another 3 years at the Albion. And you're telling me people like Martin Kelly, Eric Peters come into the team, and I can't lie to you, they have not put a foot wrong. And that is because they will actually play properly. They'll give it's about, honestly, fair enough to them at the moment. I know they want to play for another contract, but players like that, I want players who are hungry for the shirt, if you get what I mean. And then coming back to your point of Gucci and Lai, yes, I do agree that, to be fair, he has to sell the club on. And I think that is his intentions at this moment in time.
Who would buy us though, Dan? Would you buy us for 200 million quid?
I want to buy us for 200 million, but I think you find the only way if he's going to sell it, if he narrows down the price which he wants for it, the club, 100 million, he may even lower than that as it stands. But what me and you were saying the other day, Dad, but I think that is true, is I think perhaps the owner's been let down by the people being employed at the club. I think people like Drew Ken, when he came wasn't good enough really. Ron Gourley, a prime example there. He's come in on a short-term basis when Val came in. He kind of brought in Val and he said, oh, yeah, we're going to get some deals in. Yeah, we brought a couple of okay players in.
Dan, can I stop you a minute?
Go on.
What has Ron Gourley brought to the club? What's his biggest achievement to date on the footballing side of things?
Yeah, there isn't that. There isn't. And we got warned by Reading, for example. We said he's honestly one of the worst. Why would it?
CEO.
Football. That's a CEO of football, right? When he's come in, he kind of brought him into that stage of administration, running into that. But now they're in big financial trouble. And fair enough, and they're doing really well right now. But from what I've seen, pinpoint it right now, Dad, that transfer deadline day, I thought that was a complete shambles. The fact that we couldn't get 2 players over the line because of paperwork.
I think, Dan, sorry to butt in while you're in full flow. I think that either we're inept at the jobs that we do with the key, like you just alluded to, the key appointments at the club, and I don't know who's made them, right, are wrong. Now, either it was genuine mistakes made behind the scenes, or we just didn't have the money to fulfill the contractual obligations, and so we just threw everybody a curveball. I'm getting annoyed because what is the job of a chief executive officer? It's just the conduit between the owners, the manager. He's just a PR person. He says the lovely things. I've never heard a CEO say anything, oh yeah, we're in dire straits, we've got no money, but you know what, we're going to wheel and deal. I think Steve Bruce, right, was judged as a safe pair of hands. Yeah. But in all due respect to Steve, right, he should never have taken the job. He should have taken time out, because I'll tell you what, football's damaged him big time. But what I don't want to do is damage our loyal supporters. I'd love to say to Ron, if he's brave enough, but I know he won't, because we've already asked.
He won't even come out and say anything, will he?
So what do you say, right, to a person who's changed the shift at work, who's taken a loss of earnings, to go to Preston? Okay, it's our own fault to go to Preston, to watch that shambolic display, get on a coach, get home at the daft early hours, be up after a couple of hours sleep. What do we get for our money? You know what? It's time. There's an easy fix temporarily, right? Look after the supporters, put on free away coaches like Stoke, reduce the entrance fee even more to people who are already struggling, or do something to show that you care. Because this problem, Dan, ain't going to be fixed overnight, and it ain't going to be fixed this season unless we get a replica of Steve Cooper in.
Dad, you're spot on. Guys, make sure you put your thoughts down below. We really appreciate the support, don't we, Dad, on the videos.
Yeah, you know what? We're just two examples of two people that love our club through thick and thin. Well, we've only got our own opinions, but I just want to hear everybody else's. And I'll throw this out to someone. If you had 10 minutes with Ron Gourley, be pleasant and polite, what questions would you ask him?
Exactly. Anyway, guys, thanks for the video, Dad. And what time is it?
It's showtime.